Okay, how's that? No, I think it was OBS. Yeah, it was OBS for some reason. Every once in a while, it's not even like all the time, but every once in a while, for some reason, like, do you know how, like, when you go to the mic, you have to put in the device? For some reason, it removes my mic, even though I don't unplug it or anything. Okay, is how are you? How's your Thursday? Yes, two nights in a row, but it's going to be another short one because I have to get off at like 9:45 this time because I have to go take care of those dogs again. But I have to get up earlier in the morning, so I have to do them sooner so I could get to bed. So it is two nights, but to be fair, the other one is kind of like because I didn't stream last week because of me getting dizzy and stuff, so it's kind of like a makeup stream. Neil, how are you? How's your Thursday? It will always reset to default mic, but won't actually do default. You have to use the Pacific. No, it doesn't. No, not all the time because most of the time it will already have my mic registered there. Just every once in a while it will remove it. Do you plug in a different one? No. Windows loves auto switching speakers and mics on it. Nope. So all my cameras and all of my mics stay plug in, and I don't unplug them or anything. So no new cameras, nothing like that. So I don't know why. Like I said, it's not all the time. It's just every once in a while OBS will do that. Updates. That could be. That could be. There, yep. I think I did an update last night on my PC. So that's what it was. It was the update. So how is everybody doing? I know like I was just here like yesterday, so not much changes. But but anyways, I I had a good day today. I only had like one job. No, I didn't clean today. I'm pet sitting, but I did the office job today. So that's all I did today. And I did a lot of running back and forth because of the pet sittings because I had two today. So so I've only been home for like an hour at a time today. Doing good, making fried chicken and getting ready for my own thing. What's your own thing? Like your own stream? Maximus, how are you? Welcome in. What's the book about? Okay, so it is it's a like prologue or whatever you want to call it of a book that we read in the Discord book club. But basically it's about uh there there is this guy. He was like a leader of one of the lands in this world or whatever. And for some reason, he has decided to join a rebelling group of people. And so basically, it's just about the other like cities, like their leaders getting together and they're like going against this group. So that's pretty much what it is. My own stream, yeah. I am very careful not to. I understand that, but like if it's just like a regular conversation, I find that's okay to mention. But if you're okay, so like I had somebody before, like literally every time I streamed, they gone on, they're like I'm streaming now. and that's like pretty much all they would say. And it was very clear that they were just trying to self promote in my channel kind of deal. That's the kind of stuff that I have trouble with. But if we're just having a conversation, like in this case, it's just a conversation, I don't see anything wrong with that. I don't consider that as self promoting. You're just sharing what you're about to do, you know? do, 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 do. Um, so yeah. Oh, I lost my spot. There we go. So, I have been tore up. Okay, I said this yesterday, but for 2 days now, I have not been able to play much of my Disney Dreamlight. And I'm really tore up about it because the new update came out and I had a glitch and it's supposed to be fixed where I couldn't even finish the story and I should be able to finish the story now. Also, tomorrow's movie night in the Discord. I did a poll. The poll closes tonight, so let's see. Oh shoot. I have a freaking tie. uh Okay, so the tie is between this is kind of funny. So we're either going to be watching High School Musical 2 or High School Musical 3. I tried to put in the poll. Okay, I added It Ends With Us and Regretting You, which is like Colleen Hoover's books that turned into movies, but I'm surprised that they lost. So, if anybody wants to join us to watch High School Musical 2 or 3, you are very welcome to join us tomorrow. It's probably going to be at 8 o'clock. Well, actually, I think I might be able to do sooner because I'm probably going to get done with work sooner tomorrow. Maybe we'll do 7. 7 or 8. It'll be in Discord. I'll send a thing. If you want to be notified, though, you have to get the Cupid role. So I can, because that's who I'm tagging. I'm not tagging everyone. So, let's do some video shoutouts. Video shoutout at Stories. Is yours going to play this time? Nope. Nope, nope. I hate that that started happening. Okay. Can we do Neil? There we go. We can at least do Neil.
Come on! Fucking do it, game! Got his ass! Fuck you! Fuck you! Didn't you have to shoot him? Bringing in the equipment killed his ass. That's how you fucking do
it. He was really into that game. Okay, so with this being a short stream, I think I'm probably going to go ahead and start reading. We're almost done. We should finish it. Because I got through like 2 chapters really quickly yesterday. It's a fairy! Who is that? Who did that? Hold on. I gotta find my tab. Keatrin, welcome in. How are you? Thank you for the redeem. How are you, Keatrin? Let's do a video shout out for you. Here we go.
Succeed. But, Cubs, you're in bed now, so what I really want you to do is pray, hope, dream, and go the fuck to sleep. Okay? Get some sleep.
Okay, I have my volume all the way up. I'm
Asleep.
sorry, I can't.
Just try to remember when you wake up what you were dreaming about.
I'm sorry if that was low. I couldn't get it up. Very old clip. Is it? I'm sorry, I could barely hear it. That's probably all my end. I don't know. You know what? I wonder if let me check something. Where is my video shout out command? It doesn't give me an option to turn it up, so I'm sorry, Keatrin. Back before I figure out. Oh, okay. That makes sense. When I first started streaming, I was like using my like laptop mic. So I totally understand. I like some people like literally was able to tell that I was using my laptop mic. I think a new mic was one of the first things that I upgraded. Okay, so yeah, it's gonna be a short stream. We only have like chapter 17 and 18. But you know what? It might be longer than I thought. We'll see what happens. You're using your gaming headset? Some people, I feel like some people use their gaming headsets, but like it's still decent. So I don't know what kind of headsets they had. I don't use a gaming headset. I didn't even have a headset when I first started. But now I have it's not a it's not a gaming headset. It's I don't know if you're familiar with like DT770 Pro. That's what I have. Some kind of audio ones. That's all I know. I had a friend recommend these to me, so here we go. I live doesn't sound familiar. I live in my headset. Like, do you mean you're always on them? See, I'm not always on my headset. Like, if I'm not streaming or talking on Discord or something, I'll just put my speakers on and not have my headset. Really? They're always on my head, yes. Yeah, I see, I get tired of them being on my head. like the feel of it, the sensation of them being on them, um, it will get to me. DT 770. Oh no, it's Buyer Dynamic DT77. Uh let's see. I'm trying to pull them up so then y'all can see. OBS. They're like this. They're so like they're not gaming ones. They're like actual audio like headsets. If y'all remember my friend Kron, uh he's the one that made like my Christmas song and stuff. He recommended these cuz he does a lot of like music on his streams and stuff. So it's like Buyer Dynamic Studio headsets. That's what I use. Yes. Well, I don't think I spent that much. Cuz I've had them for at least a year. It could be longer. Like I got my headsets before I even built my PC and stuff. Um Okay, yeah, Amazon's showing them pretty expensive too. But I didn't spend that much. But they are kind of yeah, they are kind of expensive. But I almost bought I was looking into gaming headsets and I'm just saying some gaming headsets are like they're not the price is not like that much different kind of deal. But quality and things last longer. Yeah. I I customized mine too. So like this is my headset. They're normally like black like that, yeah. But I got new muffs and I put this on here because I wanted white ones. Well, okay, to be honest, I originally wanted blue headsets. Um, but blue is not a very common color. You either get pink, white, or black. I feel like are the common ones. So I had to figure out what I could do. So I found like different earmuffs cuz I could change my earmuffs and then the little cover to make it a different color. So gaming headsets can be yeah. Yeah, that's what when I looked at them like said the price wasn't like that much of a difference. At least I didn't think so at the time. Um and a lot of even other people that I talked to like they all say that gaming headsets, the quality is not great on them. And a lot of times you're just buying like the name or because it's it's listed as a gaming headset, so they kind of increased the price on them. Or at least that's just what I'm told. But I could be wrong. But I talked to like a few different people before I ordered these. Hey Rusty, how are you? Welcome in. How's your Thursday? But yeah, I talked to so many people before I bought my headset to know which ones to get. I'm okay, thank you. You're doing that with everything though. Prices go up just because of brand. Yeah, I mean that's fair. Well, I mean like with the gaming headsets, what I was saying is like you're paying because they're listed as a gaming, but the quality and the sound quality is not great, is what I'm saying. It's fine, just another day, you know? Well, I mean, no, because everybody's day is different. Are you still working? True. Yep. I know it's true. Okay. So, well, it's been very, very hot today. The heat is killing me. I much rather have heat than this stupid cold. We had so much snow and like okay, so even everybody that like grew up around here, they're all saying that like the weather here has been the worst that it's ever been in like years, like with the snow and stuff. No, I meant like in general, like you know how like January you went with your dad to work and stuff like that. Obviously, I know not right now. Or I could just go to the south. That's always an option. Ziri said it's like 65 where he's at, so that's always an option. So, okay, we'll see how far we get, because like I said, I have to be off by 9:45. Oh, at the end of February? Is it still difficult? Like, is it getting any easier or no? Okay, let's see. We did shout out. It is, yeah, very difficult. It's a lot of learning. But is it getting easier as you're going along? Cuz like you've been doing it for a few months now. Ball 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 ball. Okay. Uh with one or two Pacific machines, yeah, it's a little easier. Well, that's good. So as times go along, you'll you'll probably get it and stuff, you know. Have you started the schooling? Because I think you said you have to do that, right? Ba, 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 ba. Sorry, I'm just trying to get things set up here. Oh, an ad is about to come. Sorry, guys. Oh, giveaway still going on. You just have to sub to get your name in. Today's the last day to enter for the audiobook of 2078, The Fall by Jay Spencer. Um, so just make sure that if you're wanting to be entered, that you sub. Um, I some people have subbed both January and this month, and I'm going to enter them in the giveaway twice. So that is still going on. So if you want to enter, just make sure you sub. Yeah, but I haven't been able to, sadly. I'm still looking for colleges. I'm thinking of maybe studying in America or Canada. Can't you just go to a college that's near you? Because, like, how are you going to travel with your dad if you're in another country? I can, but I think the travel will be fun. But then how are you going to work, though? Like, the education's not really, like, I don't know. As a person that's gone to college and has a degree, it's not really useful unless you're working it or have a job. Especially since, like I said, as a person that has a degree and never uses it. Okay, chapter 17. We're almost done. We only have 2 more chapters, so let's see how much I could get through tonight. But the mines we go to are primarily either Canadian owned or American owned. But if that doesn't, just because they're owned by that country, I don't understand how is that correlated? Because, like, American can own a mine that's over in Australia or something, you know? You need to be in that area to be able to work it. Okay, chapter 17. Fangbane's units arrived at the ridge, but instead of diving straight from the top of the hill, they eased around the edge to where Susan's command was stationed. As soon as she saw Fangbane and the hundreds of troops following him, she breathed a sigh of relief. Because all the equipment infrastructure comes from those countries and not locally. That still doesn't make any sense because the equipment and stuff like that is on the site, right? Unless I'm just not understanding. What took you so long? She said. Adder went off with Sheba's team to defend the armory. We need your squad in there as soon as possible. Bang Bang looked down at the boulder field. Thousands of men engaged in a chaotic battle. It was a slaughter of such ferocity that several of the peasants found themselves puking on the bloodied ground. Bang Bang's reaction was unknowable, concealed behind the silvery shine of his finely polished helmet mask. But Starlight looked like she was about to puke herself. Oh, side thing. Okayus. I forgot. I don't know. Did I tell you that I started reading Iron Flame? I don't remember if I did. No, I understand it's a bit confusing, but it's okay. Time to read. Um, I mean, you could also explain it too. Because I don't understand how who owns the equipment, why that matters on what country for, like when it comes to schooling and stuff like that. I don't see the correlation. I don't remember. My memory is terrible. I feel that. My memory's terrible too. But yeah, I started it. I don't have the book in here with me. I know. Okay, so I'm at the part of. God, I can't remember what I've read. Okay, so I know that Violet just got punished because of the little dragon. Is it I think it's pronounced like Ardania or something like that, because she didn't come to like the some kind of training or whatever. And so the professor or whatever his name is like kept on making her use her power to the point where it like burnt her out kind of deal. I do remember that part. After that, I can't remember. I wish I had my book. I could just look at it. But I'm not very far. Yeah, yeah. In Darna. In Darna, yeah. Yeah, that's the one. Oh, wait. Okay. I remember the group, like, like the students, I guess is what they're called. I don't know. They were actually dropped off in like this area that they don't know where they are. And like it's like they're doing some kind of like map reading like activity that I think it, if I remember correctly, I think there's like a scribe and like they're having to work with them to like do this map reading quest thing. Um and like Violet's all concerned because she doesn't think she'll make it back in time um for her dragon and Zayden or whatever his name's dragon to get together and stuff like that. They're like in some forest or they don't know where they are because they weren't told. So they're trying to figure out based on the maps where they're at. That that's where I'm at. I remember now. Okay. Yeah, because the dragons can't be separate for two. Yeah, yeah. Even though they keep them separated longer than they should. So, okay. How many? She asked. Here, in the force at the armory. Nearly 5,000 in total. Fang Bang did quick mental math, then shook his head. He wasn't worried about the armory. Adder, Sheba, and Neo would be a nightmare to anyone who crossed their paths. But without them on the front line, they could no longer win the main battle by landslide. He predicted it would be close, down to the last 100 men. Gotcha. So let's go. Yeah, I just started not that long. I really enjoyed that book, even though Book Talk had issues with it. But they got issues. I was about to say, Book Talk has issues with with everything. It feels like there's literally TikToks of people that like popular books on TikTok. They like have this huge spiel about why it's not good. Oh, okay. So the equipment that made in Canada, for example, they use their own local regulations and standards when making these things. So going there to study electronics means a tailored curriculum to local standards for those machines. But if you're working with your dad, like you're going to need to know what like his equipment and what he uses. Fang Bane sighed. I'm sorry. I didn't expect so many rebels. Susan, I'm not sure if we could win this. What do you mean? She noticed that his group was missing a few people. Where's Auden and Arrow? That was his other problem. He had lost two valuable fighters during the night raid. While they did eliminate a good fraction of Gavin's forces and injure Gavin himself, the two were not here to fight the battle they were desperately needed to fight. I'm here, Your Grace, Errol called, shoving her way to the front. She was patched with bandages over her arm and torso, a brutal sight for a slash and run operation. But I'm afraid Leader Auden and Commander Iphigenia did not make it. Susan was at a loss for words. You look bad. But I will keep fighting, Errol promised. We all will. Behind her, a mix of young Athenian men, Iphigenia's Valkyries, and Keltas from Valina stood tall. They were ready to fight to the death. Marari was uneasy about the masquerade unfolding in front of her. She had only one thing occupying her mind. Where was Gavin? It seemed that the men down there were out to butcher anything that moved. She knew they no longer had any intention to capture Gavin alive. Go forward, Fangbang called to Errol and the rest of the units in her command. Without hesitation, they charged down the hill, joining the rest of her allies. You're worried this won't be enough? Susan said, reading Fangbane's mannerisms. It's possible, but Fangbane shook his head. We'll be cutting it too close. To see this many die? For what purpose? I was hoping they would surrender before we had to slaughter all of them. But this? I don't understand. Why do they still fight? The tools we use are just basic tools like screwdrivers, soldering iron, some kind of scope. The machines are the complex things we work on. So wouldn't you have to know how to work on all the different machines? Like you're talking about going to school to get tailored curriculum to just that country's machines kind of deal. But you would need to know how to work on all of them, no matter where they're from, right? That's why your dad like travels. Okay. Okay. On the other side, Gavin and his men watched as another force rolled down the hill from the right. Ayer's army, the small brigade that had attacked him earlier, was finally joining the battle. He watched the wall of fighting men roll like a wave. One of his soldiers cursed, "Bloody claws! They're shucking us like corn." Who says that? He turned and screamed to his company of Nanakin miners and fishermen, "Let's pile these corpses." Eon looked up at this scrambling wave of soldiers, then faced his leader. "You want me to take care of that, sir?" he asked. "Please." Eon charged ahead, shouting, "These are the jaws of Inferna, brothers. Let's get in there and bust out some teeth." With several hundred wild, desperate men behind him, Eon charged at the oncoming blitz. Fangbane and Susan watched from their vantage point. She shook her head. "Will I have to roll up my sleeves here?" she sighed. "It's likely," Fangbane said. "It's a shame your successor didn't work out." "It is a shame indeed." Something tugged in Fangbane's mind. Thoughts, ideas, things that would interrupt his already fragile plan. He turned to Mirari. She had her hand on her lips, presumably going over strategies to save Gavin. "You," he warned, "will not fight." "Again?" Mirari snapped. "Aren't you short-handed?" "You're not trained for the front line. You run into the fight and you would disrupt our strategy. These commanders know where their men are at all times. You disrupt their flow, you not only risk your own life, but theirs." "I obeyed your orders last time," Mirari reminded him. "And now Auden and Iffy are gone. Thousands more may die." She paused. "Are dying. So no, I don't believe you have this under control. I don't believe you have any intention of saving Gavin. Let the fighters handle this fight. You have no idea." But Mirari was not listening. She was drawn to the image of Gavin as she spotted him moving among dozens of bodies, leaping, slashing, and ripping like a beast. "There he is!" she yelled to Cho-Chim, ignoring every word from Fangbane's mouth. Cho-Chim tugged her arm. "Mirari, listen to reason." "No, there may be nothing I can do for Sal, but Gavin is still alive right here. I can't turn my back again. I won't let him die. I have to try." But she realized she did not speak further. There was a sudden change in his countenance. His whip hung loosely by his side as his fingers traced the intricate weave of the leather. She could see how he changed his stance. He looked less like the dancer he was when she was in training and more aggressive like a panther. "I know," Cho-Chim said. His heavy sigh told her he still didn't agree with her decision, but was ready to stand by whatever she did, no matter how ridiculous. Her face bloomed into a light smile. "This is the last task I ask of you, Cho-Chim. Fight with me. After this, you will be a free man. That is my will." He lowered his head in an elegant bow. "It would be my honor, my lady." She turned, moving down the battlement towards Gavin. blood-sucking toe ticklers, Bang Bang shouted. Damn the Helion to the deepest dungeons of Sufferer's Island. They're going to get killed. You should have never brought them along, Fang, Susan said. Well? Starlight tilted her head, glancing between her husband and the runaways. You're not going to stop her? Bang Bang watched Marari leap down from the rocky side of the mountain, avoiding every soldier in battle and ignoring the dangers of the steep cliff. She hit the ground running, with Cho Chim close behind. I don't think I will. Starlight whispered, but dear. Soren may have been wrong, he said, as much as the word stung him. I don't think we should take the gamble. Starlight shook her head. She couldn't imagine what good could come from letting an untrained maiden face off the rabbit warrior. Still, she had faith in Fang Bang's decisions. She prayed for their safety and rallied her healers towards the injured. For a moment, Marari and Cho Chim stood in awe, watching as Gavin fell man after man. It seemed the more he killed, the more soldiers crowded around him, forming a wide ring. If they all rushed him, it would be over. Only nobody dared to go first. He was dripping with buckets of gore like he bathed in the stuff. Come on, who's next? He screamed at the gathering ring of enemy soldiers. Beyond this knot of combatants, the sounds of battle were slowing down. Well, are there none but cowards here? Gavin said, his lips curled in savage rage. He scanned the surrounding faces. Many eyes dropped to the ground. He tried to find a single look to challenge him. There wasn't an ounce of resignation in him, in fact. He wasn't the least bit concerned by the enemies surrounding him. He held his spear up for them to see, circling them, so they all got a good look. It was layered with blood, some dried and black, some fresh and dripping. A single jewel of dripping blood formed at the tip. He watched how the sun winked at the droplet just before it fell to the earth. We will, Marari said, turning to Cho Chim. We will be the ones to fight him. Marari, Cho Chim raised a hand and dropped it in a slow, downward motion, a reminder to focus on her breath before jumping in battle. She did as he instructed, exhaling. You should know if he's truly possessed. There's a possibility that the real Gavin may not return. She looked down at the hilt of her sword, a weapon that would soon be bathed in its first blood. The thought had crossed her mind before, but she didn't want to face it. Cho Chim looked at her sternly. If it comes to you or him, I will have no other choice. Marari swallowed. Her body suddenly felt too heavy to hold, but she nodded and drew her sword. At the sound of metal, Gavin turned to her. He let out a light chuckle. A duo? Huh, Gavin said. Fine. For the old man and his lady. I'll honor it. He spun his spear overhead, then crouched with the weapon pointed at them. Cho Chim flicked his arm, lightning quick, his whip lashing out and catching Gavin across his cheek. He didn't flinch from the hit, but his eyes burned with rage as blood seeped from the wilt. You have my mark, Cho Chim said. Your defeat is at hand. Give me 1 second. I'm just checking on things. Okay. Gavin roared, swinging his spear overhead, aiming for Chochim's head, only to be met with a clash of steel as Marari blocked the fatal blow. Chochim circled around her left. He launched 2 throwing stars at Gavin. Gavin swept up dirt with enough force to deflect the stars, then drove through the falling dirt with a stab. Marari countered with a chop that drove the spear point downward, and Chochim lunged with his 2 daggers, cutting 2 neat red grooves in Gavin's forearm and shoulder before spinning away. Stone spikes rose from the ground to pierce Chochim. Marari gasped as she and Chochim was separated by the spikes. Gavin spun towards her. "Little girls shouldn't play with swords," Gavin leered in charge. Her training kept her outside of his range as she deflected the spear with her blade. His reach was too great. She had to find a way inside his defense. But what would she do when she got in there? She couldn't stab him, could she? He swung his spear, leaving his body wide and exposed. Taking the advantage, she slipped inside his spear range and swung hard for his right arm, hoping to maim him. But Gavin was too quick and brought the staff of his spear around to catch her swing. The impact jarred her arm, and she pushed against their crossed weapons, her eyes wide with pain. She didn't expect him to be so strong. Gavin's breath was hot and rancid. He was so close she could smell his sweat as he locked eyes with her. Her heart leaped in her chest. The person before her wasn't Gavin. It was only a desperate, hungry beast. Gavin stumbled as Chochim's whip found its way around his neck. He growled as Chochim yanked him backward and slammed him into the stone spikes. Chochim came around the other side of the spikes, the whip around his shoulder as he sent a storm of throwing stars at Gavin. Gavin growled, raising an arm, deflecting the blades with his forearm, and blocking Marari's sword with the spear in his other hand. Chochim kept away this time, throwing star after star. Marari followed her retainer, stepping into a rhythm of attack and retreat. Every time she stepped away, a hail of stars fell upon Gavin. They kept up the attack even after Chochim's stars were depleted. He was on his last 6 daggers. Chochim lashed at Gavin to cover Marari for what he hoped would be one final blow. Marari dashed in, now in range. She couldn't explain it, but in that moment, she knew that this creature was no longer her childhood friend. It was something pure evil. Power rushed into her limbs. She attacked Gavin with a fury she had never known. But he was simply playing with her, letting her efforts tickle his thirst for an entertaining show. He grabbed the whip confining his wrist and pulled it forward. Chochim was forced to loosen his grip just enough. Marari missed her swipe, and he reached straight for the hilt of her sword, holding it down with the force of a tiger. His knees came up right into her stomach. Marari doubled forward. With a head of titanium, he slammed into her. That hurts. I used to play soccer, and hitting the ball with your head would hurt. Agonizing pain engulfed her, but she was too overwhelmed to cry out. The beast was ready to play some more. But before he could force her up, he felt a strong lash against his back, shattering his cracked armor and engraving a fresh gash. He turned just in time to deflect a dagger aimed for his heart. Cho-Chim quickly lunged forward and collided into him head first like a seasoned battle bull. That was Cho-Chim's style, serving a taste of his opponent's own medicine. Gavin staggered. This level of skilled resistance was a shock of him. He smiled, reveling in his first real challenge of the campaign. My apologies, old man. You do stand as a champion among these vile worms. I'm truly impressed. Cho-Chim felt warmth flowing down his chest now. He glanced at his white linen shirt. A foot-long slice cut through the cloth where a long, shallow wound lay across his chest, just like the one he inflicted on Gavin's back. Cho-Chim flashed his eyes back to Gavin, afraid he had looked away too long, even in that split second. But Gavin wasn't in any hurry. His eyes seemed to be on fire, excited to have blood flowing. I will be sorry to see an end to you, sir, Gavin said. Now, show me everything you have. The sting of Gavin's blade against his left shoulder ignited Cho-Chim, and he began to attack with all he had. Gavin heard the maiden's battle cry. Marari charged forward with her sword in both hands held up high, ready to strike like a blacksmith striking an anvil. She was enraged, losing all sense of logic and tactic. A simple sidestep was all he needed to do to avoid her charge. Her sharp blade slipped into a stone spike, lodged and stuck in the rock. Feces of the Fae, Marari cursed, trying to tug her sword out. Cho-Chim jumped in, ready to cover for her, but Marari saw a faint smile on the tiger's lips. Cho-Chim, no, she cried, but it was too late. A spout of earth beneath Cho-Chim's feet sent him high into the air. With his core, Cho-Chim's hands guided the earth under his control. The rocks that had lifted him off the ground now molded into pellets and fired themselves at the violent tiger. Welcome in, Idol. How are you? How is your Thursday? Thanks for the emote. Marari gave one final cry and yanked her sword out from the rock, charging at Gavin while his vision was still blocked as he shielded his face from the pellets. She hacked at him, but he didn't need to see her to block her swing. Then, with a turn of his wrist, his blade jabbed forward and missed Marari by a hair and lodged into the fighter behind her. Marari turned, face drained white as she saw her retainer skewered from front to back. Cho-Chim acted as if it was nothing. He pressed forward, twisting and pulling the shaft out of his chest, tossing it to the side and pulling Gavin into a hug with the dagger in hand. Gavin sneered, his hand on the blade lodged in his shoulder, and staggered away from him. Ah, good, Cho-Chim choked while his knees trembled, gradually losing strength. I was starting to wonder if you knew how to bleed. Marari caught him as he stumbled to his knees. Tears blurred her eyes. No, Cho-Chim, no, you can't die. Get up. I'm sorry, dear one. I cannot. He held a hand to her face, with his eyes drifting off as death approached him. You have a strength within you, child, that you cannot imagine. Go forward with all your might. Never settle for less. He tried to say more, but his time had come. Marari held on to the one person who had always put her first. I have done my part, Cho-Chim wheezed. Now finish him. I can't do it, not without you. I know you can. He embraced her one last time. Be that fearless girl I raised, Miss Hale. Cho-Chim! She screamed, her voice crackling like glass. Get up! And when he didn't respond, she screamed again. I command you to! The man had never defied an order from his lady until now. Before Gavin could take the life of the grieving maiden, another whip struck him. It fastened around his leg, and he fell face first into the ground. That's enough, Susan hissed. This duel is over. Now you fight the rest of us. Her entrance was a delight. A new challenger. But before he could take her on, he was ambushed by the fighters who once stood on the sideline. Marari wailed with no restraint, but she wasn't the only one. She saw more fighters launched onto Gavin, desperate to take his head. Cho-Chim's death enraged them and gave the army hope to take down the last of the rebellion. They aimed for Gavin's head, unheeding the council's orders. They were thirsty to earn the title of the fighter who slew the violent tiger, the one who ended the rebellion. Fangbei sprinted to Marari's side, dragging her away from Cho-Chim. Starlight joined her husband. She gasped as her gaze fell upon Cho-Chim. Oh dear, Starlight whispered and looked at her husband, who was left speechless. Cho-Chim was punctured front to back, inwards exposed. Even with the best healers in the Empire, the chances of his survival were minimal. If he did survive, an infection would follow. In cases like these, healers would be advised to let the fighter die with honor. But Starlight wasn't ready to give up, especially not for this grieving girl. She placed her hand over Cho-Chim's heart. He still has a pulse. She waved over two medics who arrived with a stretcher. They brought Cho-Chim down the hill towards the established medical tents. Turning back to Marari and her desperate cries, Starlight took her and pulled her in for a hug. Her shoulder absorbed Marari's tears as she stroked her head. She gave her husband a look, and he returned a nod. A soft blue glow emanated from her hand. She kept it on Marari's head until she slumped over in slumber, tears falling as the last of her strength drifted away. She has seen enough, Starlight said, lifting Marari onto her back. I'll take her to the tent. The law of the large had worked its inescapable will. The rebels were beaten. There were pockets of fighting still raging, but the outcome was not in doubt. Even though his rebels were crushed or had shattered and his insurrection had failed, Gavin still wanted a fight to the death. He was isolated and alone, facing an entire army. His continued resistance was hopeless. He didn't stand a chance. But Gavin fought with no mercy. Starlight took a few steps forward, then stopped abruptly. She looked over her shoulder and waited. That's not possible, she muttered. Fingbang furrowed his brow, sensing the panic in his wife. Her relaxer should have kept Morari knocked out for at least half an hour. He brought his attention back to Morari. They waited to see if she would wake up or if she was treading in light sleep. Morari's eyes fluttered open. What concerned Fingbang more was what he couldn't sense. A conscious body stared back at him, but he heard nothing. The slant in her brows implied that she wasn't pleased. He noticed a glow in her eyes, reflecting more than tears. Was it a trick of the sun, or was it something profoundly dangerous? Whatever it was, none of it was calculated. Okay. I don't think anybody came in to do shoutouts, so whoops. I just hit that with my headset. I always hit my mic with my headset for some reason. Give me 1 second. Bom, 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 bom. Okay. Well, I don't know how long this chapter is. Let me see how long this chapter is before deciding if we should continue, because I don't want to get stuck mid-chapter. It's a little less than 10 pages. What's the odds that I could get through it? Maybe I should try it. I might try it. Okay. Okay, let's try it. We're going to try it. Okay, we'll try. We'll try. Okay, chapter 18. Morari burst with energy, flaying and kicking Starlight with such force that she lost her balance. They both tumbled to the ground. Morari shuffled to her feet, but Fingbang locked her in his arms before she could run off. She was desperate to run to Gavin, who had retrieved his spear and was hacking away at the remaining brave soldiers. Morari, stop, Fingbang said. Do not touch me, she warned, stretching her elbows in an attempt to pull her arms apart. Fingbang wasn't going to let her go, but a small ball of red flames in her left hand distracted him. Fingbang froze. He had no idea she knew how to wield fire. Why hadn't she used it earlier? And what was she planning to do with it? He tried focusing on her mind again, his forehead creasing behind his mask as he searched for a mental opening. But his mind went through her as if her body didn't exist. There was nothing. She hurled it at him in an upward jab to his face. There was a loud clang when her fist hit his mask. He stumbled backward, slightly dazed. Mirari hurled a fireball at his feet. It missed, creating a patch of flames in the grass between him and her. Saint Laura's firecrackers! Fingbang cursed as he tried to regain his focus. He wasn't sure he could restrain her again. Stopping a grieving girl was not the same as stopping an enraged warrior with fire abilities. They heard the gallop of horses approaching from the lower field as they made their way up the hill, led by the Shadow Shoulder and the Silver Fist. Perfect timing. Fingbang sighed with relief. That meant the armory was secured and under control. He knew he could leave that in Counselor Adder's hands and focus on the battle before them. Out of my way! He finally heard Mirari's voice, but it was different. It didn't sound like her thoughts. More like she was sending him a telepathic message. Fingbang was disoriented, hesitant, and uncertain, but he felt obligated to yield to her command. But, like a single thread that could unravel the finest stitches, he recognized that he was looking at the event that would change everything. Almost as if he had been trapped by her flames, he could only stand and watch her approach Gavin. The troops parted for Mirari as they murmured and gasped in disbelief. A cacophony of surprise, curiosity, and confusion passed through the crowd. The battle-hardened soldiers gaped at his whips of a thing. Gavin burst into laughter upon seeing Mirari again. You lost your duel, maiden. Don't try your luck twice. He turned to the rest of the crowd. His lather faded, seeing that no one else was willing to approach him. What is this? You miserable cowards! Send a maiden to do... He never finished. Her blood-curdling scream struck like a wave of force as she charged at him with astonishing speed, sword in hand. He barely got his spear up in time to block her first attack. The crowd watched in spellbound silence. She slashed and parried, not giving Gavin a second of rest. Gavin had to check his distance to close with her. To cut her in half with his own weapon. Not long after he slashed at her, she tossed her sword away as if it were just a bother. Mirari brought her hands together. The flames she created were almost hypnotic. She shrieked in unearthly, blood-curdling war as she charged straight for Gavin. Gavin seemed to have grown cautious now, barely dodging her fiery attack, darting left and right. He blocked her hand with the spear, handling it with a mastery no warrior can match. You're getting a little wild there, he said. A real warrior doesn't give in to revenge. A transparent barrier shimmered into existence, forming a clear arch, and it closed the two fighters, sealing them off in an invisible but impenetrable dome. Mirari muled over the source of the force field, forgetting that there were others on the battlefield who wanted to intervene. It was sturdy, an impressive display of core mastery, and she could use it in her favor. Almost as if those outside knew of her plan, a dark shadow filled the ground underneath Gavin. He didn't seem to notice the Shadowmancer's ability until it rose and seized his ankles with human-shaped hands. Gavin lost his balance in the struggle and fell to the ground. Mirari spread her arms wide, flames in each hand. They were larger than anything she had hurled yet. But she let the flames flare even more. They poured along the side of the barricade, giving her full command. She was caressed, and her wave of flames. A relaxing feeling of freedom settled over her, but she was displeased seeing her foe. Was she awakened as a gesture of kindness or to be executed? Her instincts leaned towards the latter. This fighter before her, ambitious as he was stupid, was supposed to be the best among the mortals. The scrapes he inflicted proved it. Or maybe it showed that Mirari's party power was yet to fully awaken. Mirari gathered the aura in her hands again. It's worth bathing her skin. I can't read right now. Bathing her skin in the soothing way she had missed. They were hers, the red flames of fate. Mirari hurtled them, choosing speed at the cost of accuracy. The flame whizzed past her target, just 2 feet off. But the fighter was prepared for it and managed to take a swing at the very thing meant to destroy him. The fireballs bounced, skipped off the dirt, and came back towards her. Mirari didn't bother to dodge it. She let the fire return to her body. Take a deep breath. I am breathing. What do you mean? And I have been what'd you call it? Drinking water and stuff. Have you not done enough damage? She hissed. The heat inside the dome was searing. It was worse than a sauna now. The sweat drenched the 2 fighters. Gavin knew there was nothing he could do to free himself, and he could only hope to deflect the next barrage of fire. Who are you? Gavin challenged, spear pointed up and ready to swing at her again. But Mirari could sense from the quiver in his voice that only a fraction of his courage remained. The flames had spooked him as they should have. There was no chance he was getting out of this dome alive. Send your master my regards. Mirari raised her hand, ready to claim the man's soul, but a tug in her mind held her back. Her muscles refused to move, stiff as hardened clay. Don't hurt him, she hissed, frustrated at the lack of control over her body. You can't be serious. She only took her eyes off Gavin for a second. Oh! Always scares me. Matsu, welcome in. Thanks for the raid. How was your stream? Wow. What were we wowing about? Oh, I should do an introduction. I am legacy bookish. I read books just like Matsu does. Um, I do have ADHD, so sometimes you never know what my streams will be. Sometimes it's very hard for me to get through a book. Um, Kind of depends on how bad the ADHD is that night. But I do have 2 book clubs in the Discord if you're interested in joining them. We have an indie book club, and then we do like just a general book club kind of deal. Um, we are having movie night tomorrow night, so welcome in. We're almost done with our book. We're finishing it. This is like the last bit actually. Once I finish this, I'm actually going to be leaving Matsu, so we only got a little bit left. But how are you? How was your Thursday? It was good. What did you end up reading? I know I was in your stream. I know that you were reading, but I didn't like see what you were reading. That's good. We read The Murder at the... I've never read that. Is it any good? Are you enjoying it and stuff? Marple's first appearance? Miss Marple? Who's who's Miss Marple? Yes, it's very good. That's good. Our book is it's like a prequel a prequel of a book that of an indie book that we read actually in book club. So, but after this book, the subs had oh the subs have already chose the next book, which I forgot. I am doing a giveaway. Today's the last day to enter. You have to sub to be entered though. An old lady detective. Is it like Sherlock Holmes kind of detective or like a different kind? The next book that we're going to be reading is, let me see if I can find it. It's called The After Queen, The Gambit. Uh, let's visit the site. It's complicated. She doesn't really detect directly, but offers advice and always say, "Oh, that sounds really interesting, though. I should look into it. Is it like a classic kind of deal, or like where would I find the book? I guess is what I'm. So this is our next book, The After Queen, The Gambit. We'll be starting this, probably next week. I did not realize how long this. We're going to be on this book for a while. There's over 500 pages. It takes me forever to get through. I don't less than 300 pages. Oh yeah, hold on. What is it called? The murder of Viceroy. I'm having trouble finding this on Goodreads. Did I spell that correctly? Vicerage. I can't even find this on. I can't find it on Goodreads, Matsu. So I can't even add it to my list. That's funny. Well, thank you for the raid. I'm going to continue reading because I seen that we're almost there, and yeah, and I literally only have like 5 minutes left because I gotta go because I'm pet sitting, so I have to go let them out. Okay. She only took her eyes off Gavin for a second, and his spear came down on her. Marari grabbed it with both her hands, stopping it inches from her head. Gavin twisted his wrist, and his spear came down on his shoulder. A gash split open where it met her skin. Blood-sucking demons! She cursed and hurled a fireball at Gavin. He dodged it and struck the barrier again behind her, causing it to erupt in a shower of tiny sparks. Gavin lunged at her, but she grabbed his throat, his spear now in her hand. Tell me, she seethed with the thrill coursing through her veins, do you want to die by your own blade or in her hands? He clawed at her, wheezing for her breath. Her greatest weapon was not a blade, nor was it her throne of flames. She tossed the spear and looked deep into Gavin's soul, focusing on the impurities rooted in his mind. They were drawn to her touch, thralled from their host like an ocean current. Unable to resist her pull, the dark mist resurfaced around Gavin's body. One glare was all it took for the mist to be seared by the flames around it, gone without a trace. Few would know of its existence, and that was the way it should have been. As Gavin's mind was purified, his struggle for air became human again. But even though he was released from the curse now, she wasn't going to let him live. These men who fell victim to their own guilt would only be taken advantage of again. To her surprise, he didn't struggle. This warrior, who knew no quit, didn't fight for his life. He breathed as though he accepted defeat, eyes full of shame, and all he could think about was thanking her for saving him. He whispered something as he stared into her eyes. It was only a slither, not loud enough for her to make out, but his voice had a strange effect on her body, and she felt her arm grow heavy. Her? Pity? Nonsense. No, those were not her feelings. Her host was regaining control. She felt her hand shake, her mind fading. She let go, dropping Gavin's frail body on the small part of the ground that wasn't consumed in fire. He fell, lifeless, perhaps even dead. Control was slipping from her once again. The tug in her chest, a voice in her head. It was her. Rosalind was fighting back. Her flames were fueled, pounding against the surrounding force field, pressing harder, growing hotter, with her desperate efforts to regain control, until it was shattered. A wave of air rushed into her lungs as clouds of smoke and ash blanketed the boulder field. She could hear the people around them in a panic as they began to sputter and choke on the fumes. She couldn't call it victory. The true enemy was still out there, and control was far from her reach. Even if her strength returned, what more could she gain from this battle? She sunk to her knees. She couldn't feel her fingers anymore. Her mind went numb, and the flames returned within her, back inside in a deep slumber. But she knew it would only be a matter of time until she was summoned again. The real war was about to begin. And that's the end. Book 1, The Knights of the Alliance, that's the one that we read. That's the next book. But we read that in book club. Yay! Okay. as I mentioned, the next book will be The After Queen, The Gambit. We have so many books. Okay, so at the beginning of the year, I just did like a thing to see what authors would be interested in. And we had so many. Hold on. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So 19. 19 authors have pretty much gave me permission to read their books on stream. So we're going to be busy for a very long time. So, anyways, I hope y'all enjoyed this. Couple things, like said, movie night is tomorrow. By the looks of it, we're going to be watching either High School Musical 2 or 3. So, if you want to join us to watch that, you're welcome to. That's in the Discord. The link is literally right there. The next stream is next week. Let me look at the calendar. The calendar's in the Discord if y'all want to see it. Oh, it's going to be on Sunday, the 22nd. That's the next stream because I'm pet sitting starting from Saturday to Saturday. I'm doing overnights. And then Saturday the 21st, we're doing the one book club, Things We Never Got Over. We're doing that one. So yeah. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here and just hanging out with me and listening to me read the best as I can. It's not always great. Thank you for the raid, Matsu. I appreciate it. Okay, let's see who is on. I'll be honest, Matsu was the one that I was thinking about raiding to when I got done, but he beat me to it. So let's see here. Ooh, Misu's on. Let's raid Misu. I haven't got to be in his streams much lately. Left 4 Dead 2? I guess that's what he's playing. You know, I thought about doing one of those like bookshop games on stream, but well, we didn't reach the goal, so it would be a goal in the future. Okay, let's bring this over here. Let's raid. Raid. Is this gonna work? There we go. Thank you so much for being here. I do have to go. I appreciate every single one of y'all, and I will see y'all next week. Bye, guys.
How are you? How was your stream? What'd you read today? I'm sitting here playing Deadpool.
And if you threw a party,
I was doing so good, I got
invited everyone you knew.
gift will be from me, and the card attached would say, thank you for being a friend.
We were. Oh, I forgot to change my fucking game while I was playing. Shit.
You did.
I got time.